Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everybody. I am in India at the moment, so you'll just have to tolerate any sounds around me or if there's any interruptions, because as you know I don't edit these, and so you just get me as I am, and I'm in a bit of that travelling mess at the moment. So those of you who are watching it, I'm not usually in India, but I am here at the moment for a trip, and so I've been posting where I can and where seems appropriate to take you on this journey with me, because you come with me on my internal and external journeys. So if you're listening to this on the Beacon app, on YouTube, on Spotify, all the things, don't forget to like, tag, subscribe, share. It really helps me to be able to create more resources for you. And I'm so grateful for all of the comments below and in the group chat you're sharing, all the new members. Thank you for understanding why I'm here. You know, I work from a soul perspective, which is soul progression, which is layer by layer on my own journey as a human being, but also as a healer who's been put here to help people find themselves and really know who they are and shift the energy to get more of what they want, which is the essence of who they are. All my platforms, whether it's the healing and meditation I create on the apps or the mini readings or the sessions that you have with me, everything intertwines with each other. It's not like one should be done without the other. It's like everything that we do, we can't brush our teeth and then not brush our hair, and everything it works together. So if you're listening to this, don't forget to grab your journals and your pens, because there are going to be things that you hear throughout the Monday mantras that are going to be revealing for you. And because the nature of who I am, energy shifts when you are listening to this. Like, I've tried to find the quietest place I could in my hotel to be able to record this, but even here, being in India, this is why I share when I'm on my journeys wherever I am, and why I've been posting on Instagram, is because you are going to be receiving messages from my messages and what I'm discovering. So get your journals out, let's go through last week's energy as much as possible, and we will get to this week's energy as well, from a soul progression perspective always. And remember, Monday mantras, the opposite can be true of what I'm saying. I'm focusing on the light. I'm focusing on the part that we're wanting to aspire to and wanting to work with. But this is life, and life throws things at us all the time. I am no different to anybody else, and we need to navigate ourselves back to the lesson, because these are guided lessons based on what spirit guides tell me, what I feel, what I'm seeing in my life. Because I'm guiding many people, they give me very clear signs to be able to assist the wider community that resonate with me in whatever way. Okay, so let's go through this Monday mantra and enjoy the ambience of this, hustle and bustle of India. So last week's Monday mantra, we set it, if I include my spirit guides in that, in the setting of all of this, is let my inner child guide me to what I need to rediscover my purity. Let my inner child guide me to what I need to rediscover my purity. So February for me, because January is always that kind of weird month where we're making a transition into February. And what I'm being called to tell you about is, I did say, I think at the beginning of January, that my great grandmother would tell my grandmother, and my grandmother told my mum, that January month is the month where things, start to set in motion, the month of Dai in my language. And so February is kind of this purifying month where there's insights, there's truths, and I found myself in KL for Chinese New Year. I wasn't, planning on being there at that time, or I wasn't intending it for that time. I just happened to be there at that time. And so there's this guidance that's coming through. And I talked about Venus last week. And it's so funny, because while I've been in India, I have seen Pegasus symbols. I have seen Venus written on things. Like, it's signs, even though they're for something else, whether it's a company name or a company logo, but it's like guidance on this loving energy. And this so funny thing with this inner child, like, I'm actually here in India with my mother, and so I don't know about you, but when I'm around my mother, you kind of revert back into a child. Like, I'm just kind of following her everywhere, and it's like that loving energy of, I don't actually really need to think at the moment. Of course I need to think as an independent woman, but my mum's taken over, which is a wonderful thing for me. And so I know that for me, it's that loving energy bringing opportunities for expansion and growth within, because I can go back to being a child. And it's so funny, like, because there's been long road trips and for like being in the car for many, many hours at a time. And what I'm doing is things that I don't normally do. I haven't done since I was a teenager, which is I've got my headphones on in the back. My mum's leading the way and I'm listening to music. And I used to do that all the time, whether it was with my Walkman, my Discman, and later on, all your other MP3 players and iPods and whatever, and now just your phone and Spotify. So I've gone back remembering who I was as a teenager, and this is still an inner child, isn't it? So how have you found yourself connecting with your inner child? And I noticed some comments, whether it was on YouTube or on the group chat, around people finding themselves interacting with their children. And it was really interesting because in one of the hotels I was staying at over the last couple of days, I was sitting downstairs in the lobby area. I found a desk table to do some of my work, and suddenly I saw these two little girls, and they were all there for a wedding because it's wedding season here in India at the moment. So there's lots of brides and grooms walking around everywhere, and these two little girls, probably about 6 and 8. I was watching them because they were dressed so beautifully, and I was thinking, in my head I was thinking, two beautiful princesses walking around. How lucky am I to see the joy in these children? And I was thinking that, and I was carrying on doing my emails and whatever, and these two little girls came up to me and they started to speak to me in Hindi, which I don't speak Hindi. So I said, hang on, you need to speak to me in English. And they said, selfie, and I was like, sure. So I ended up dropping my work and connecting back with these little girls who came and were like hugging me and taking photos. And I was thinking, this is so really that inner child energy where they didn't know I was doing work. It didn't matter. I wasn't being interrupted. I just went along with the flow of it because I could play. They were Snapchatting filters and doing all kinds of things. And I was thinking, this is what we're all needing at the moment. Like somehow this inner child energy is coming in for us, and our job is to identify it. So I've listed some of the ways that I've been identifying it in this last week. And this energy will continue on because it's about purity, and we all know how pure children are. So let me know in the comments below how you have found, or in the group chat, how you have found your inner child coming back, like remembering who you were when you were a teenager or a smaller child or whenever in your childhood. And what's coming up is to break the patterns that we had when we were children, because there are some patterns that are coming up that are painful memories as children. Like, I don't like being told what to do. I'm not having that issue on this trip, but it's almost like, that's why I said, keeping my independence as a woman, but also I'm embracing the inner child, going, okay, my mum's here with me. She wants to look after me. She wants to have me follow her around. So I'm doing that, and I'm really happy to go with it. But I know for a lot of you that inner child is being triggered by certain painful memories. So stagnant patterns coming to awaken new possibilities. Connecting with your inner child's wisdom. Children always know what they want. They know how to cry or to express that they're not happy, or they need to be fed, or they need to go to the bathroom, or whatever. So expressing freely. And this is an interesting thing about India. I said this to you last time I was in India, which was 6 months ago or 7 months ago or whatever it was. It's like India's not for the faint-hearted. Like, you've got to be very street smart when you're here. It's just got so much contrast. And what I notice about Indian people is that they are so expressive, where it's like, even when you watch a Bollywood movie, everything is expressive, like expression in the face, expressive in the exaggeration in the cultural dances, and everything is very expressive, like a child. And there's wisdom in that, because you are speaking without even needing to hear words. And there's something about that non-verbal communication. I think I brought that up in last week's Monday Mantra when my throat had the big bubble in it to clear for all of us. So it's trusting our instincts and expressing from that place. Like, what is the instincts telling you? Because our brain, including my brain, will sometimes be, trying to sabotage, trying to say something's wrong, because we are afraid of being unsafe or having something destabilize us. anger is something that's coming up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fiery anger. I'm noticing the anger for me that has been coming up is in terms of the injustices that are going on. Like because being here in India, it's that polarity of very rich and very poor. It could be that type of anger coming up for you, and I'd be interested to know what is being triggered from when I'm saying this. Is like, what anger is coming up to be transformed to power? I'm noticing that things that used to upset me before are not upsetting me so much anymore. And that's because of clear boundaries that I've set with myself, or where I've delegated for things to not affect me anymore. So, really think about how boundaries need to be asserted. Like when those little girls came up to me, I was really conscious about I'm a woman, so I didn't feel so bad communicating with young girls, but I was just very conscious. I'm like, watching out that their mums know where they are, and just because you're looking after vulnerable children, because they're trusting you, they're coming and just trusting, can I take a photo of you? It's kind of like they're trusting you with their vulnerability. So where are your anger points coming up? And it could be bigger anger, and also where are you needing to establish clear boundaries right now? And communicating your true self to honor those boundaries. And here in India, you do need to set boundaries because there's a lack of personal space and cultural differences, and also me having to be careful, like not to. We live in a world, and I'm digressing here, but kind of. We live in a world where we're having to be very politically correct about a lot of things. And sure, we need to be considerate, but we also need to be ourselves, okay? So really think about what that means for you, because that naturally wanted to come out of my mouth. So are you being honest in how you are reflecting yourself and how you treat yourself? Because it's really interesting. I'm going to tell you the story. So we've had the most wonderful driver that's been with us for our whole trip. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but there's something that wants me to bring this up. He's very careful with his car, like, oh, madam, please don't slam the door too hard, or get told off about that in New Zealand too, with my car, being too aggressive with it. And I was like, oh no, whoops, sorry, I need to think about what is important to other people, obviously. And he was sort of telling us, please be careful here and there. But what actually happened is, like, I started getting an intuitive hit the day before that something was going to happen to his car, and that's why he didn't know it, but he was saying, be careful just be careful when you open the door, and just be careful. So we were honoring that when we knew that he's really careful with his car, which is totally fine, And he showed up to pick us up from the hotel a couple of days ago. And he was really upset, and I was thinking, something's happened, and I was thinking, it's maybe none of my business. And what had actually happened, which we didn't notice because we were just getting in our car, was that after all the trying to protect and trying to be careful, it sounded so funny, but it's not funny. India is chaos, but a horse and cart knocked into his car, and so his whole front panel has been bashed in, and he said in the car, he said, I've just loved my car too much, and it's almost like a lesson for me. And I was thinking, that's so interesting. It's like when we try and protect too much, and we try and do all the right things, and we try to set really strong boundaries to protect ourselves, sometimes these lessons just come in because we need to just let go and accept that we can't control everything. So when I talk about establishing clear boundaries, it's about truthfully expressing yourself, but also knowing that things are going to happen and we just have to accept and let go. So considering with honesty whether you're reflecting yourself truthfully and how you treat yourself as well with your day-to-day actions, and question yourself with kindness and trust your intuition. I'm not going to tell you the place that I ended up going. There's a monument that I went to, because I don't want it to affect anybody's opinion of it, because it was magnificent. But I felt really energetically strange when I got there. Like, it just didn't vibe with me. And I haven't felt that way on this trip. And even my mum was being a bit weird. But the whole lead up to this place, because we had time pressure. So we were like, okay, you've got to go, and then the guide will meet you and going to take you in, and blah, blah. And it was just all very rushed. And Anyway, I ended up walking in and walking out, and was saying something to my mum in passing, because my mum got a bit freaked out by something there. And again, I'm not disrespecting anybody or anything, but it just wasn't the right energy for me, and my mum also felt that. And somebody heard me and was upset by what I was saying. Now, I wasn't saying anything bad or derogatory or anything offensive, but I was just like, we need to leave, so let's go. And the person took that as like, you were disrespecting this holy place. And I was thinking, this is so interesting, because what it triggered in me is like, oh, I'm being told off for not something that I wasn't meaning, like it was totally mistaking out of context what I was saying. But I triggered that person, and I triggered that person because they couldn't tolerate that I didn't want to be in that space when it was a holy space for them. And I was thinking, okay, so it triggered the being told off, and in that person, it triggered the ability to, that person was judging me, going, this is a very disrespectful person because I don't want to be here. I just didn't feel right about it for me. So things like that are coming up as well. It's like these triggers of lessons of doing the right thing by you, even if it upsets somebody else and they're taking it out of context, because not all of us are going to believe the same thing or on the same page, but we can still do things together. Because I made a comment in last week's Monday Mantra about, everyone should keep their faith and be open to all religions. And I feel like that is why I had that interesting interaction so briefly, but I just was like really taken aback, because I didn't want to be there in the first place energetically, even though it was magnificent. And then that person obviously picked up my energy of like, she doesn't want to be here because she disrespects it. It was not that. It was, there was something energetically not right there for me or my mum. So we left, and I felt terrible about it, but I realized it's all coming back to the lesson of, we need to be all tolerant with each other, and it's actually okay that I was truthful to myself of I didn't want to be in that space because I know I'm intuitive and it just wasn't right for me. So yeah, just an interesting thing for you to think about with any situations that are coming up in your life. And so it came up here, what I'm going to read next is taking a childlike approach of rewarding yourself. So my reward after that of just being like, I could go and apologize, but what am I apologizing for? Because it was a pure heart that I was saying I didn't want to be here. But I rewarded myself going, no, I was truthful to myself. That person just took it all the wrong way. So practicing self-care at the moment, acknowledging your accomplishments, intuitively rewarding yourself. Like for me, my rewards are always some form of adventure, and adventure is what children like. They like to discover things, they like to be curious, and that's the wider energy in terms of coming back to that purity and that purification. So the joy and excitement you feel will be contagious, and so I hope I'm giving that to you also with where I am, because it's been such an amazing experience here in India. I'm seeing places I've never seen before, and this period of time is activating our throat chakra, and our throat chakra doesn't mean talking, it means just expression like a child. So let me know what you did to reward your inner child, what came up for you, because as we move through the week, I ended up at the one of the temples in Malaysia, which was the Kalamandamam temple, and we were there for lunch. None of us had been to this place for lunch before, and my parents parked outside this place, and I was like, oh, this temple is here, and I said to my mum, I need to go into this temple after we finish lunch. She's like, sure. And I am Sri Lankan descent. I've just never been to Sri Lanka before, but my ethnicity is Sri Lankan, and I was told that this is the temple and the hall where Sri Lankans get married. And so I was thinking, okay, I'm meant to be here because I'm Sri Lankan, I need to go into here. So I went in there, and it was the Sri Kandaswamy temple, which is the worship of Lord Murugan. And I'm mentioning this because Lord Murugan is also worshipped this week, which is all giving you this energy of what it's about by telling you the story and you receiving the energy behind it. And Lord Murugan is the divine son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. So this was like a very activating place for me. And I went through and I paid my respects, and I took what photos I could to share with you, because no photos were permitted inside the temple. But it was this heritage energy of coming back to who we really are. And so this is going beyond the culture, beyond the religion, beyond the ethnicity, of like, we're paying respects to the heritage of the primal recognition of how spirituality began, embracing our shared experiences. And then as we moved through the week, the card that came up, which made me laugh, because obviously it's Shiva and Parvati that came up, which was the divine masculine and divine feminine card. And I wrote, it takes both energies to create and manifest whatever you desire into existence. As Venus connects with us right now, it's an ideal time to embrace our inner child and pursue our purest forms of adventure and spontaneity, because kids know how to create. So a lot of you will probably be starting to feel your purpose is becoming a bit more clearer, having to make decisions. All of that is coming up because it's that creation purity that's coming in, the natural flow of creation. Our self-expression is influenced by the merging of both divine masculine and feminine energies, harnessing the power of polarity, and this dynamic creates a youthful, playful approach to love and relationships. It can manifest as a sense of fun and a willingness to engage in light-hearted activities, encouraging a passionate and adventurous perspective. Whether you are navigating your romantic life as a couple or choosing to fly solo, understanding how these energies interact can help you recognize your inherent tendencies. Aligning with partners who appreciate your bold and dynamic spirit can enhance your experiences, or you may find fulfillment within yourself. So obviously I'm in a partnership with my mum. When I'm here, we're working together, even though I'm her daughter and following her around, but there are things that she looks to me for while we are here. So this also is a form of union of the divine masculine and feminine to restore our ability to listen to the inner guidance, which is your inner child, bold and truthful, instinctive and knowing and wise, to understand what you truly need. So I just found it interesting that in Malaysia I was in the sun of Shiva and Parvati's temple, and then the next day I pulled the card and it was Shiva and Parvati. So it's all leading up to that divine masculine, the energy of creation, creating and aligning with our goals, our purpose, all of that. Then as I ended up in India and went to Jaipur, I was at the Radha Krishna temple, and how I got here was such a long day of travel, and I was all, in a mess. But our tour guide said, let's go to the Radha Krishna temple now before we drop you back at the hotel. And my mum was like, oh, let's go tomorrow. And he said, no, you'll miss darshan if you don't go right now. So I said, okay, come, let's go. So as we're walking in, I hear the music, and obviously my energy starts to shift, because I was from tired and I just want to go back and shower, to I can feel the energy of the Radha Krishna temple and the darshan. The darshan refers to the act of seeing or experiencing the divine presence, a spiritual master, a revered deity, and here Lord Krishna. And it's believed to foster the spiritual growth, the inner peace, and the deeper connection with the universe. The energy here was honestly just amazing. I mean, I think we're all familiar with Hare Krishna groups. This was like that, but more, because you're here in India experiencing that. And the chanting, the dancing, it was almost like everyone was in a trance. Everyone was in unison with what they were chanting. And it was like I had this sudden surge of energy to just dance and clap. And my mum was dancing out the front, and she's like, you go and I'll watch the bags and the shoes. And so it was kind of like I walked around, and then I saw the carving of Krishna on the wall with the conch, and I was like, okay, this is all because I knew I was going to be uploading the conch meditation at this time, because we are being summoned. And so this Krishna invocation, it was so powerful. My mum actually made the comment, she's like, oh my god, it's so powerful in here. It's like Krishna's going to show up with all the summoning of Krishna. And it was just truly amazing. So the devotees, even my guide, who was their tour guide, not spiritual guide, tour guide, he was on his phone FaceTiming with his family along with lots of other people, because he's like, they all want to experience darshan at this time. And so I recorded some of that, and I'm going to be turning it into a meditation for you, so that you can take in that energy, because it was just really shifting. Like, it's going to shift back to, because, Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna temples, they're very, it's like a joyfulness, like a childlike joy, music, dancing. Nobody's like restricting themselves. And I was like, this is all coming back to that inner child purity. That's why I'm here. Like, I was meant to go the next day, but the guide was like, no, darshan is now. So it was like perfect timing when we'd finished driving for hours and doing the other things that we did to end up ending the night at the Radha Krishna temple. And so the Radha Krishna was a temple that I went to, was established in the 18th century during the reign of Maharaja Sawai Jai Singh II. So it was built in 1735. So I just thought about all the Krishna devotees going there and singing like that every single day, to be in the presence of Krishna. My tour guide was saying how people don't want to leave Jaipur because of that temple. They want to live there and they want to die there. And honestly, if I lived there, I would be at that temple every darshan, just to get that energy, that childlike fun. Then I put up the post about the elephant. So before I left to India, I was talking to one of my spiritual healer friends, and she's like, touch an elephant. And I was like, okay. I said I know that, because we remember we brought up the elephant thing a few months ago on one of the Monday mantras, and I was thinking this is another part of it. And I was thinking, I'm not going to ride an elephant. I'm not going to be involved with that. And I know that's a very controversial topic. And please, that's why I wrote a disclaimer on that post. I did not want to ride an elephant. I do not believe that anybody should be. However, I do not judge how people have to make a living, because everyone's learning through their own experiences. So, with that said, we got up in the morning and we were walking out to our gate to be picked up by our guide and our driver. And my mum's like, hurry up. And I was like, okay. So I hurried out the front, and elephants were walking to work with their keepers on top of them. And so I walked out and I was like, oh my God, this is my chance to touch an elephant without having to be involved with anything else. And so one walked by and he was like, come and touch. So I walked over to this elephant, and honestly, my eyes like filled up with tears, because I wasn't planning on touching an elephant at this time. I didn't know that was how an elephant was going to show up in my life. And she was just so majestic. So today's Monday mantra is a bit longer, but I'm sure you understand, because I've got a lot to talk to you about. But the elephants are all female elephants, female Asian elephants, because the male elephants are aggressive. And so my guide was like, just be careful, because it can be dangerous. But I walked over to this elephant and I just started stroking the top of her trunk, and I was looking into her beautiful grey eye, and she was just staring back at me, and I just said, thank you for being you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your blessings. I'm grateful for your presence. It's making me quite emotional saying this. And so it's like, that's the message for all of us, to be the gratitude in the present moment, the gratitude that, I knew that elephant was a mother. And it was like the energy that she gave off. I'm also going to be recording a meditation when it feels right for me and when I've digested and processed all of it. But that was probably one of the most moving moments for me, because it was like she really connected with me. She looked at me and was like, because she had a different response to my mum. But with me, the only reason I stepped away is because the keeper had to keep going with her. But, she was amazing. And so there's a lot of energy coming through me for you right now in terms of gratitude and wisdom and understanding. And I will record a new meditation about that. Sorry, my eye makeup's now going into my eyes because the elephant has brought in that energy for us. So it was just a very, very moving experience. And so that same evening we went out and did all our sightseeing and whatever, and then at the end of the day our driver said to us, you can actually go and see the elephants at the elephant village. It's just literally 10 minutes away from your accommodation. And so I was like, okay, well, let's go. And so it's called Hathi Gaon, Hathi meaning elephant, Gaon meaning village. And so we went in, and it's like a little village there, and it's like 120 Asian elephants, and each elephant has a family that looks after it, and it was just, yeah, it was just really beautiful being there. It didn't spend too much time, but I just wanted to be around the elephants at that time again. That was obviously not planned, but just a last minute thing when my driver's like, you can actually go and see them. But that instance where she walked past and I had a moment with her was really moving. So yes, sharing that beautiful energy with you, and there will be a meditation to come. Our extended meaning of the Monday mantra: childlike purity means approaching life with a light heart, free from the weight of seriousness and the tendency to take offense. Children don't really get offended, do they? We do. And it embodies the joy and excitement of childhood, where simple pleasures are cherished and a wonder is found in everyday moments, just like those little princess girls that came up to me and said, "Can we take photos with you?" The purity allows one to experience happiness and excitement undiluted by the restrictions and intolerance that often accompany adulthood. It encourages a perspective that values curiosity, openness, and a playful spirit, reminding us to embrace life with the same enthusiasm and innocence as a child, because it's from that space that we actually get the information on what we want to create and what we need to create. We get the insights from being in that space of letting go. That was very long, but thank you for bearing with me. Remember, I am here for you. I'm still doing my work while I'm away, so if you need me, please remember I am only one person. I can only see so many people at a time. I wish I could see so many more, but it's just the nature of my work. So if you're on a wait list, it'll be the right time when it's the right time. And there are mini readings and personalized meditations. Mini readings are for brief questions because I work in layers. Like if I need to be able to tune right into it, and mini readings are not for that. Therefore, if you need something now, that's how you do it. Kieran's the person to email, soul33@gmail.com, and the appropriate subject title, because then she can identify what she needs to get to with you. Okay, this week's Monday mantra. Are you ready? Let's have a look at this. My vision is being expressed, karma is clearing, and crossroads meet. My vision is being expressed, karma is clearing, and my crossroads meet. Karma is being cleared this week, okay? And you're going to need to look at this in your own life, okay? So cause and effect. So this could be, there might be some things that come up for you that you may not like, but it's obviously we've got a full moon this week, and so it's always a time of clearing. So clearing karma to steer a clear path away from drama and focusing on creating our own path. An answer we've been waiting for is on the horizon. When I was coming to do this Monday mantra, I saw like a crossroads, and it's like there will be this crossroad energy coming in this month. So remember, I break these down every week, but they all connect with each other. And so the crossroads are making us get to this point where we're going to have to decide now which way to go, because this is the thing with life, things, yes, sure, some things are predestined and all of that, but we still have free will. And so there's this final call regarding something significant in your life, like I'm going this way or I'm going that way. And the childlike energy and creativity from the last week into this week are still present. So embracing your inner child and channeling that creativity will inspire the action to make a decision on which road you're going to take, which direction you're going to take. I'm hearing in my ear now, choose one and follow that and trust your intuition on that. And keep that sense of adventure, keep that sense of curiosity and wonder about what will unfold next. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day this week as well, and this has got nothing to do with the commercial side of Valentine's Day. It's where the energy is being focused, because lots of people will be thinking about Valentine's Day, doing things for Valentine's Day. So strong connections are on the way, stirring up feelings related to heartbreak, to love, the inner child stuff, I'm unworthy of love, but also the other opposite will be true too. So with Valentine's Day approaching, connections are being built, or the opposite, karma clearing, and Connections are being cut because you don't need that anymore, and that's your crossroads, and therefore you're now following the other path. This is not just about intimate relationships, it's whatever relationships that resonate with you from based on what I'm talking about. We're encouraged to experience love in all forms and to be patient with how it manifests, because pure love can take many shapes, like with that elephant. And maintaining an open and loving heart will attract positive energy like a magnet. Additionally, the 11th day of, the 11th day of February, which is 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, which is the second month. And February is the second month of the year, so 2 again. That 2 is significant in the lineup of number sequences, hold a special significance that coincides with the festival of Thaipusam. So Thaipusam is a festival in my culture, and again it ties into why I brought in Lord Shiva and Parvati's energy, Sri Kandaswami's energy, because it is Lord Murugan. Sri Kandaswami and Lord Murugan are one and the same, just they all have different names in different regions, and it falls on the full moon. And Thaipusam actually honours Lord Murugan because he's acknowledged as the deity of war and victory. So we've got a big Murugan in Kuala Lumpur, the thumb's coming up again, where he is standing there with his spear, which is called the veil in my language, and it's the protector of devotees. So what are you devoted to? Let me know. It can be your family, whatever your faith is. I'm just sharing through my experiences the energies that we need. And Thaipusam is a really fascinating festival because the devotees carry these elaborate structures on their shoulders called a kavadi, and it's an act of penance. Like, they can be decorated with all kinds of flowers and symbols and heavy things, and sometimes there's the hooks put in their back, like literally pierced. They go into a trance-like state to put the hooks in, and it's like the sacrifice they're making of, this is how devoted I am. I'm trusting in spirit so much, in God, and whatever the words are. And remember, recent discussions about burdens, I think it was maybe a couple of months ago, I can't remember now, considering whether shouldering them is feeling like punishment or leading you towards something greater. Because when you look at the devotees for Thaipusam, they look fierce and they look strong, carrying these kavadis on their back, like these burdens on their back, but they're doing it in like, we are devoted, we are dedicated. And these processions that take place, they walk for long distances, and it's physically demanding, but it's spiritually uplifting, like, this is how much I can handle. So that energy is coming in, the offerings and prayers, community and festivity. It's like, are we fulfilling the vows that we're making? Are we really realizing how protected we are? And it's a very, very vibrant festival. And so really think about what you are, whether your burdens, like children don't really have burdens. We kind of create those burdens as we go along. It's still connecting back to that. We are human. We are also devotees to whatever divine you believe, whatever faith. I am open to everything. I learn from everyone's religion and culture, but we don't have to always resonate with it. We can just be open to learn. We rise from the ashes like these people carrying these kavadis, these burdens on their back as devotion for what may have felt like a punishment is actually tested us to see how we're not going to break, how we're becoming stronger. So let me know below what has really tested you to make you realize how strong you are. And I know so many of you go through so many things to have that strength, to that burden is power now. There are going to be signs presenting themselves, especially on the 15th. Okay, so I don't know why the number 15. Look out for signs, or that number 15, and also 1 plus 5 is 6, so it could be something to do with that, but keep looking out for that. Be attentive to the confirmations of what you've been contemplating when it comes to signs. Spirit's telling me now, set a sign. So set a sign that you want to see. So tell yourself out loud, the sign that I want to see to confirm the direction I need to go in is what? A bird, a feather, a word, whatever it is. Let us know what it's going to be. Your action this week is to choose your path at the crossroads and heed the signs. Choose your path. because I'm, in this space of being on an adventure. When I get home, I need to make some decisions. So I'm going to be choosing some paths and follow that. So let us know how that goes for you. Okay, I want you to take a moment and close your eyes so that we can give you the energy that you need in order for you to receive the activation for this week's energy. Now, if you're not driving, that's when you close your eyes, please. Otherwise, just take it in. The crossroads that you are going to be making a decision on, you will know very clearly through the signs that you receive that that is the way that you go, and you will know that it's the divine that is showing you the way. And through your heart space, there will be a light that will come, that will illuminate the path, and you will be able to reconnect with what you really are and the sacred vision that you hold for yourself. Forgiveness is going to be important. There was a day last week where I sat and did a forgiveness meditation myself, so you might want to jump on the app and do one of those. And knowing that the path that you do decide to take is going to be bringing out more of your talents, your divine talents. And so that's going to lead to more success, more regeneration, more abundance. So giving you all of that energy right now. Remember, I am here for you, but I'm only one person. I'm doing my very best to cater to everybody's needs as I can. And the app is only $60 a year. It's a very small amount. The only way that I can do that is by keeping the link external so that I don't have to put it up by 4 or 5 times to be able to pay all the platforms. But if you need a renewal link, please email Kieran on the instructions so that you know exactly what to do. Or if you need a mini reading or to go on a wait list or a meditation, soul33@gmail.com. Your Monday mantra is, my vision is being expressed. So look out for your vision, because karma is clearing. What is the karma that's going to be clearing for you? And what crossroads are going to be meeting for you to make that decision in order to connect with your vision? Until next week, have a great week, and I will be posting whatever I can of India for you to share in this energy with me.